Hello, ME Bros. This is Jason of Game and Shocks, and welcome to my very late Games I Beat in 2022 video. So very fashionably late that I'm wearing the exact same shirt that I wore last year, so at least there's some consistency to these videos. So for last year, or 2022, I beat 51 games in total, which is now my new record. So that's a nice thing to like in terms of statistics. All brand new games that I beat for the first time ever. Some of them may have like restarted after not knowing what to do, or some ones that I'm just like, you know what, I want to play this. I don't know why, I just want to play it. So yeah, that's kind of, just like if you saw the video last year, that's pretty much the same as it's going to be this year, just with 51 brand new games, some classics, some modern, and all sorts of genres. Because for the this series, I put like some kind of rule on myself where I wanted to do like these things. I wanted to beat at least one fighting game, one RPG. What else? I'm looking at the games right here. At least like one classic game, like one released before the year 2000, which was the year I was born, and I did that in spades. And yeah, those are like the main ones that I can think of. So I'm looking forward to this. I've been wanting to do this video for a while. I got like some new lighting, like I finally got a ceiling fan, and there's some posters in the background that you can look at. One of which is a game mode in a game that I beat from last year. And I'm looking forward to the remake of that game, and I'm looking forward to that movie. So, yeah. And also, don't just watch my video on games I beat in 2022. I recommend searching it up and watching other people's videos. This is a fun thing that I like to do, and I think now I want to make this tradition on this channel. So, enough stalling, let's start talking about some games. So now, let's start! Okay, so one last thing I want to mention before we actually start going through all the games is that I wrote down this list right here just so I can keep track of all the games that I actually beat. So if you see me just looking down randomly, that's why. So let's begin for real this time. So the first game I beat is on January 14th, so we're starting 2 weeks into 2022, and I beat a personal favorite of mine from when I was a kid, and that is Pac-Man World 2 for the PS2, which was just such a nice, underrated 3D platformer. The first game was also one that I grew up really liking. Never one that I beat as a kid until many years later. And kind of the same thing with this one, where it took me far longer to beat this than the first one. But it's got some fun level design. It's basically like Crash Bandicoot, just with Pac-Man. You got all the staples of Pac-Man. It's got some fun level design. It can feel kind of samey sometimes, but it's not too bad for a 3D platformer starring Pac-Man that's Crash Bandicoot style. Next game is on January 20th, so less than a week after I finish Pac-Man World 2. You'll notice that I'll put my hand up like this just so I can put up a game that I beat digitally, or on mobile, say, in this case. So I have the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection on the 360. So I beat multiple games on this, and they actually have Sonic on that. So right now I'm filming this mirrored, so maybe this is my left hand, so you never know if it shows up on this side, or I don't know how things work. But anyways, so the first game I beat on this collection was actually was Sonic 1 on this collection, and also I beat it on my phone because I wanted to try out the mobile versions of Sonic 1 because I've heard of how good they were, and it was really good. I wouldn't say every zone is amazing. Obviously Labyrinth Zone is a big dud on that front, but no, Sonic 1 is good. It's definitely not the best. I wouldn't say it's my favorite of the classic Sonic games, but for a start for such a legendary rival to Mario, it's good. And then the next one I'll just go through all the games that I finished on this collection. So next, let's see. I finished Sonic 2 on April 18th in time for the Sonic 2 movie that I actually have up there on 4K. I got that for Christmas. I'm getting off topic though. Sonic 2 is everything that Sonic 1 really should have been. It has tons more levels, it has tails, and I just feel like it's like a generally better game than Sonic 1 is. In almost everything except for special stages. Although to be fair, the special stages I don't really care for in Sonic 1 either, but they more than make up with like the music and the like superb level design in like a lot of the levels. Because like that's really what Sonic was about. It was about physics and the speed. Everyone loves the speed in Sonic. If not, then why would he be called Sonic? You might as well call him Slowick. Let's see, what was the other one? I think, let's see. Okay, November 23rd, I finished Sonic 3. Which, by the way, I did also finish Sonic 2 on mobile as well. So I finished Sonic 3 on this, just standalone. I didn't beat it with Sonic and Knuckles attached to it, so I just beat like standard vanilla Sonic the Hedgehog Tre. Yeah, Tre. So Sonic 3 by itself, I don't know. It's good, but it's like with Sonic 1 where it's like Sonic 2 just kind of feels more like the complete package. I have finished Sonic and Knuckles by itself like this year, but maybe this year I'll also get around to talking about Sonic 3 and Knuckles like as if they were one game. So it's kind of hard to talk about Sonic 3 without like Sonic and Knuckles attached to it. So I mean, it's good, definitely. Like Sonic being like, you know, as he's always been, just all about the speed and platforming. Always having a good mix of the two. And those are the games that I beat on the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis collection and on my phone. Next game, let me flip this over. January 26th, I finished a big boy from a few years ago. And that is Doom Eternal. Now talk about a game that kicked my ass like in more ways than one. So I actually have like a funny story to tell about with Doom Eternal. So when I first got it back in 2020, I'll be honest, I was enjoying it and also not enjoying it because like the gunplay in this game is superb. But like everything else, like the difficulty, like at first I was like, this is just like, because I played on Hurt Me Plenty difficulty, and I'm not good at fast-paced shooters, so this game kicked my ass a lot, and I won't lie, it was a little frustrating at first. So then I stopped playing, I didn't come back to it, I get to a Slayer gate, and then my game crashed, so I was like, okay, and then I played the level again, and then it crashed again, and then not only did it crash, but it corrupted my save file. I think this was in the third level, if I remember correctly. So that sucked. So I then waited a little bit. My brother was itching for me to play this again because I hadn't played it in a while, and he had beaten it like 3 times on Nightmare difficulty. He's clearly better at shooters than I am. That's not a braggy though. Like he's definitely better. But I went back to it, and then like I got better at it, and like so the game patched, so I finally got past that Slayer gate that would kill my save file, and I did, and I grew to appreciate Doom Eternal like so much more, with like its gunplay and like just generally like it embracing everything about Doom, like just not even trying to be realistic like 2016 was, just going all out, balls to the wall, a demon killing machine. And being the savior of the world and just ripping and tearing until it is done. Even though it doesn't say it on the back of the box, but it should. Alright, next game, January 29th. This is a game I finished on my computer, my laptop computer, which is right there. You can't really see it, right? But I finished Peggle Knights, which I finished the original last year also, but it never came out physically. At least I don't own a physical copy, is what I mean. I played it on Steam. And Peggle Knights it's more Peggle. We got a few more characters to work with, and so you got some new fun level designs. It's more Peggle, and can't really go wrong with Peggle, or really any games by PopCap. It's like those games, like they were like the kings of like casual gaming, and I wish like the old spark of PopCap would just come back, but stupid EA. Alright, so next game, on February 2nd, I finished WarioWare Get It Together. I got this game for Christmas, not last year, but like the year before in 2021, and I feel like this would be like a, like a fun, like a nice little, like short adventure to play in, and it's also nice. Wario's doing that. He's picking his nose. He's like me. But so WarioWare Get It Together is like, so you got more micro games, and the big gimmick with this one is that all the micro games can be played in different styles. So like every character like acts differently, and so like say Wario, like he can move around like on a jetpack. Young Cricket is like kind of like basic jumping. Mona like is always moving with her scooter, and 9-Volt's always on a skateboard, and so like every character like acts differently, but like they still like are integrated into every micro game to like fit them, and it works. I kind of like WarioWare Smooth Moves better, both for its story mode and its micro games, because I think it does a better job showcasing the Wii Remote and like what it can do, like say being an elephant or like looking like a jackass better, but still decent game. And it's not even like a $60 game either, which is that's a good thing for Nintendo games, because Nintendo games tend to be pretty pricey and they never go down in price. So yeah, WarioWare. Next game, February 15th. I have another Sonic collection. I have Sonic Mega Collection Plus for the original Xbox. But the game I finished on here is another game from my childhood, and that is Sonic Blast. I never owned a Game Gear as a kid, but I had an old like Sonic plug and play that I used to play in the car. Like remember those cars that had like little like screens on them, like you would flip down, and like so like that's what me and my brother had, like because me and my parents used to have like I think it was like a Ford Expedition that had one of those screens, and like that's how I would play Sonic Blast. I never knew how to play it because I think back then I didn't know who Sonic was, because this was like when I was like a young kid. I was like probably 6, and so I barely ever got past like Yellow Desert Zone. So like this year I was like this year, by that I mean 2022, I was determined to be like, let me try and beat Sonic Blast. Like surely it can't be that hard, and I was right. It wasn't that hard. It's just I can admire it for like actually putting like 3 sprites on like the Game Gear, but it's not a great game. Physics are all whack, and they're like all out of whack, and the game is like way too easy too, which usually is not something I would complain about, but it was like too easy to like, can I have some challenge? Like even the special stages were mostly pretty easy, but Sonic Blast, it's whatever really. But I'm glad I got to beat it, so I'm sure my kid self would be happy. Alright, next game, March 2nd. Now this was a game that I was very much looking forward to in 2021. And then when I heard that they were releasing a physical copy of this game, ooh, you bet that I got on that fast. And that is Kena, Bridge of Spirits on the PS5. Is it Kena or Kenna? I think it's one of the two. I don't remember. Oh man, what a great game. Now, like, take what I was saying about Sonic Blast and like being impressed by like its visuals, and then like take that and apply it with Kena and actually having a great game to back it up. Because this game like is stunning visually, and it has some like great combat about like with like these little guys called the Rot, and like they help you out with some attacks. And think of it as kind of like God of War, mixed with like an indie game or like a 3D platform, because technically this is an indie game made by an indie studio, like doing like I believe like doing animation for it was their first video game, I believe. And the fact that they nailed it on their first try was like just kudos. What was the developers? Ember Lab. I can't wait to see what you guys do next. And the fact that like it got like enough recognition to like win at the Game Awards and such, like it was just fantastic. The story's great too, about like this spirit guy, Kina, just wanting to help this village of lost souls, like trying to like navigate them through the world. It's just a terrific game. I highly recommend it. It was like very high on like my favorite games of 2021 for sure. Next game was not the one I'm holding right now. Next one on March 12th, another game I finished on my computer, not my laptop. I finished it on my Mac, because I got it for free with the Apple Arcade thing. I played a cute little game called What the Golf. That's its name. So as you know, I'm a fan of golf. I haven't mentioned that before, definitely not. So it's a game with golf, and it's not your typical golf either. Keep that in mind. So like at first it starts with like your normal game of golf with like, oh, you just like put it, you just click until you hit the flag. Okay. But then it starts to reveal more things. Like you could play as different types of objects, like office chairs and stars and planets. Trying to think what else, because there's so many things. Lots of balls at once, golf clubs, the arrow itself that you point with. And also with on different types of conditions, like different gravity, and like other crazy things. I don't want to give too much away because it's just such a fun game, and it takes like the advantage of like golf, and like, you know, golf is considered, I guess, boring to some people, which I get. And it makes it exciting. I think even like on Steam, I think it even like calls itself What the Golf, the game for people who hate golf. So that just tells you everything. And also you could control an oil drum with as a rocket. So that's the last thing I'm gonna tell you. But play What the Golf, you'll realize what the golf is that about. Next game. Now I can actually pick this up. April 5th. I finished Mojo for the original Xbox. So this game was like, I believe, one of the early games that I got in my original Xbox collection. It was one that I wanted to not wanted to play, but one I wanted to finish for like a good while, because this is actually quite a lengthy game. It says over 100 levels, like, and they're not. Some of them are not easy levels either. Like you got to deal with like the physics and changing of colors and other environmental hazards, and like think of it as like other not typical, but like other marble rolling games. And you got Mojo, and it's actually quite a tough game too. It was a lot harder than I was initially thinking, mostly because of how long it is. But it's not bad. I wouldn't say I love it, but I guess if you wanted like a game where you can roll a marble around and pretend to be a marble, there you go. That's Mojo. And then also on April 16th, I guess I was in some kind of marble rolling mood, because on the Wii I finished Marble Mania Coral Rimpa, or is it Coral Rimpa Marble Mania? I don't know. Why are you asking me? Now this game actually I like far better than I do Mojo. So with this game, it has something to do with this one has more to do with physics. Like you take a Wii remote. I have one with me. Okay, pretend this Roku remote is a Wii remote. So you would use a Wii remote, and like you would move it around, like just move the stage around. And I just think it was done really well. It tracks the Wii remote pretty well, which is crazy because this is an early Wii game. Because I'm looking at it, it's from 2007. There's a good amount of levels to explore and like some fun music. So like I guess It's like Super Monkey Ball, but with like with like Wii controls. And I'd say it's a hidden gem on the Wii. I dig it. All right, next one. I already talked about Sonic 2. April 30th. Now this is one that you could kind of like question of like, is that actually a game that you can actually beat? Technically, yes, you can, because there is a solo mode, and it does have like some kind of ending cutscene or reward to it. So that is Mario Party 7 for the GameCube. So I finished the solo mode for this, which is basically just playing all the boards with like some kind of condition to them. It was solid enough. I think it was mostly because like I wanted to try and beat some kind of Mario game this year, and I did that. I did it all while playing as my girl Daisy, because I had to, and because yellow is my favorite color, even though showing Wario on the back. But some of the conditions were fun. It took me forever to beat the last level because it drags, like the boss drags, and like trying in the conditions to get to the boss take forever also. But aside from that, it's fun. There's not really much to like talk about when it comes to like Mario Party and story modes in Mario Party. They're just kind of there to like essentially unlock the last level so you can play with your friends. But I definitely didn't hate it, like, that's for sure. It's Mario Party. It's kind of what you expect for a Mario Party story mode. Alright, next one. May 6th, I finished the final game as of this video in the series, and that is Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, which is pretty much just Uncharted 4, like, as an expansion, starring Nadine and Chloe. But you play as Chloe throughout the entire game. And Uncharted is Uncharted. It's good. This one is definitely like not the best one, but I do think it's better than Uncharted 1. Like I think at the pace of this one like is also like much better than Uncharted 4, because Uncharted 4 is a better game, like, but like I think its pacing is like a little takes a little too long. But this one is like a solid like how long did it take me to beat? Like 8 hours, I'd say, like 8 to 10 hours. That's like perfect for this game. And you know, it's more great Uncharted shooting and locations to explore, and you don't really need to ask for much more than that. Next one, on May 23rd, going from one game of PlayStation loyalty to another game series of PlayStation loyalty. That is Ratchet & Clank, with Ratchet & Clank Future Tools of Destruction. That's a long title, but really, just a really good game. I love the Ratchet & Clank the games and this series, really. I will get to all the games. Like I still want to stream Rift Apart, and A Crack in Time is next. Like it's actually down there with some of my other PS3 games waiting to be played. But this one, like, it takes up your arsenal and then just like ups it to up to the PS3, and this game looks terrific too. Like it even says on the back here, the first game to truly deliver the long sought something, and then you are playing a Pixar movie experience. Like I can't lie about that. Like the animation like seems like Pixar quality for 2007. Like even just looking at the inside too, it's like it looks great, and has some more great weapons, and like enemies to fight. It's just like they took Ratchet & Clank Up Your Arsenal and just like you know, tweaked it to like not to perfection, but tweaked it more and made it feel a lot more smooth. Next game, June 1st. I actually finished 2 games on June 1st. The first one is which one should I play first? Which one did I play? Which one did I beat first? I think I beat this one first. The first one is Boom Blocks. It's another game from the Wii that again, underrated game. Like the Wii has a lot of underrated gems, like not hidden gems, but underrated games for sure. And this is among them. And this is a cheap Wii game too. It's like $5, I'd say. Like basically, this game is like Jenga meets Angry Birds I would say meets cut the rope, but there isn't really much of rope in a game like Boom Blocks. But it's like you fling these animals around and like you topple buildings over to get at like these like blue jewels in there. And there is a story mode to this, like adventure mode really, where you get like all these types of levels to play around. And again, solid level design and it's just like kind of a cool collaboration that like EA and like one of the greatest like directors of all time, Steven Spielberg, worked on a game. Like, I think that's really cool. And then the other game I beat on June 1st was Far Cry 4 on the PS4. Now, me and Aaron Fazbear played most of this game in co-op together, and man, that was so much fun. Just like, mostly what we were doing was just like throwing rocks at each other as if like we had like weak arms, and we were like, yeah, like that. And you know, it's like your open world, like your Ubisoft open world with like tons of things around you and like stuff to do. And but I like the story and just and exploring this world. I like just generally enjoyed what I had with Far Cry 4, but most of it was like playing in a co-op with Aaron Fazbear. So that's most of my like experiences with it. But it was really fun, and hope we could throw rocks at each other and explode tanks with thousands of grenades. Next game, let's see, June 9th, I finished another game that I had a lot of fun playing, mostly because I got to basically create my own adventure. This is one of the 2 RPGs that I beat for this year. That is Miitopia for the Switch. Most of my enjoyment came from this game because this is it's a very basic RPG, but most of like what you get out of this game is like the customization of the Miis, because every character is a Mii that you create. So maybe someone would have like this person as like a like the villain, or like in my case, like I had me as a pirate, while I had let's see, I had my guinea pig at the time, Wes, as a warrior in my party. I'm trying to think who else. I had like some friends as like characters throughout the world, and I had one of my dogs as trying to think. One of my dogs is like a great sage, and another as like and then I made up a villain called Cosnamag. I bet you wonder what that was inspired by. And I also had Princess Emma Stone, and like the king was another one of my friends, and so was like the prince vying for the attention of Princess Emma Stone. I just had so much fun playing this. And again, it's a basic RPG, but it's like most of what you get out of it is like the relationships that like you create with your Miis and like what you make them as. So like if you're going into this game as an RPG, like if you want like a really complex RPG, you're not gonna get that. But if you want one with a lot of personality, I would definitely pick up Miitopia, because that's why I picked it up. Next game, June 10th. Funny enough, there's another RPG. Actually, I thought I'd only beat one RPG this year, but I guess not. And that's another original Xbox game, and that is Sudeki. An RPG that's not nearly as long as Miitopia. It only took me about like 15 hours with really not any grinding to be had, but solid game, very good game. And not because of that, it was because like it had some fun combat. Like you had like 2 melee fighters, and you had like 2 characters that actually shoot, that like have first person shooting in their combat, because this is an action RPG. So you have like some kind of like different variety of weapons and like like stuff you could find. And it was just like a fun game. It's very cheesy though. I will say the voice acting in this game is very cheesy, but I kind of like it. It's like RPGs, and especially like a lot of games with voice acting at that time had kind of cheesy voice acting, but I welcome it. I liked it. It's a fun, underrated RPG that I need to get clean sometime, because sometimes the game just kind of died on me. That's not a problem with the game, it's just a problem with my disc. Next one, June 26th. Actually, wait, I just realized I finished beating. Wait, hold on. Let me back up a bit. So, I just messed up. So, Sudeki I beat on June 13th, not the 10th. So, June 10th was the actual... This is the actual game I beat on June 10th. So, this one I beat... I was close to beating it, like, on June 10th, but then I finished it that day. It's a game called Gris. So, again, I'm trying to go off my memory for all these. So Gris is like a game where you play as like as a girl who is like basically given up, and like she's lost all of her color, and basically the whole it's a very simple game with like some simple puzzles and not much like conflict happening, but it's a game that's like it's one of those games that I think I believe it won Games for Impact at the Game Awards. So it's kind of one of those games with like a message to it, and I forget what it's like. I think Don't Give Up. It's been a little bit since I've played it, but it's a game with like no dialogue, so and has like a lot of beautiful colors to it. Like as Gris keeps going on her journey, like she gains all of her colors back, and like I guess in a like as you she would like gain her confidence back, basically. So very good game, nice, relaxing, and like just a beautiful little game. One that and it goes on sale a lot on the eShop too, so I recommend it. All right, now we can finally move on. So next, June 26th is a sequel to a big boy PS2 game that I beat last year, and actually just beat most of the games in this series in 2022. So the first one is God of War 2. Man, and if you thought God of War 1 was like such gigantosaurus for like a PS2 game, God of War 2 is like that times like 3. You got big landscapes, you got more weapons, like the story is great, and generally I just think this is like a better game than God of War 1. I don't know why, but it's like I think it's just like God of War just kind of gets better as it keeps going along. I think it's just the weapons, and like I like most of the bosses more, because like it doesn't have like a not frustrating, but like tedious fight like Ares in the first game, or like that one spike puzzle with the rock in the first game. It doesn't really have anything like that. It's just a awesome like brawler. That is God of War, and it's Kratos acting nuts like he always is. Okay, next one, June 29th. Now this is also a game that you could say it's like, can you actually beat that? But I saw the credits in this game, so it counts. So I have Animal Crossing New Horizons for the Switch. So again, I did see the credits to this game, so it does count. Like once what's his name? KK Slider shows up on your island, the credits will roll. So that kind of took me as like, you could say I did beat it, like the Michael Jackson song. But I mean, it still keeps going after that. But yeah, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like, speak of games that are big. Not even like big in terms of scale. Like, just got super popular. This was it. Like, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Like, it came out just such the right time, and like I poured so much time into this game, like you wouldn't believe. Like I think I actually put like, I don't even know, like at least like 80 hours into it, I want to say. But I don't really have much to say about Animal Crossing, like New Horizons especially. It's like I think most of you have played it, and most of you likely love it. So next, I didn't beat a game in July, because mostly like in July I usually just take that as like I want to take a break. But now we move on to August. So I beat a lot of games in August. You'll see in just a bit. So first one, on August 5th, I finished the Guardians of the Galaxy on the PS5. At first when I'm just looking to make sure this is correct. Actually, no, wait. On August 9th, I finished Guardians of the Galaxy. Jeez, I'm screwing this up big time. But anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy finished on August 9th. So at first when this game was first announced at E3 2021, I believe, I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't impressed by the demo and like the first trailer that we saw. Like, I don't know I think it was just like the art style of it, like at first, and like just like how it looked and stuff, and like the combat. It didn't look that great. And I never played the Avengers game, but I heard that game sucked. So that kind of was like a red flag for me also. So I was like, kind of just like, you know what, I'm gonna skip that. But then I got the game for Christmas, and I actually heard the good reviews from it, and it won the Game Award for Best Story, so I was like, huh. And then I played it, I was like, wow, it's just like, knocked me off my socks, and was like, wow, this is actually like a great game, and like the story, like super, really touching in parts, and like it actually felt like the movie. Like you got all the Guardians, like, I mean, they're all misfits, so they all like act like punks towards each other, but it's all out of love. And it's just got a, you know, fun sense of humor, and the combat, which I initially thought would suck, I liked it. You only play Star-Lord for most of the game, but like you have lots of like attacks for all the Guardians, and like, again, lots of like funny humor, and characters saying flarkin every like 5 seconds instead of because that's funny. Next one, so I messed up. So August 5th was this is the game that I beat on August 5th. That was supposed to be after Animal Crossing and before Guardians. So let me get that out of the way now. So August 5th, I finished the original Shovel Knight, the original version, not like any of the expansions. Which Shovel Knight was one of the first games I actually got for my Switch. It took me a while to beat it because, again, it's a tough game. And I'm not good at this kind of... Well, I wouldn't say I'm not good. Well, it's mostly the boss fights that were, like, bringing me down. Because, like, man, I suck at these kind of retro games. But I pulled through and I did it. Again, it's just, like, I don't really have anything to add about, like, Shovel Knight. It's great. It has, like, fantastic music and, like, just production and level design. And most of the things I've already talked about ad nauseum. For other games in this video that, like, again, you could say it's a modern classic, for sure. Okay, now we can move on. So August 24th, I finished God of War 3. Now, of the original God of War trilogy, like 1, 2, 3, this to me is the best one. Like, the stakes are higher. Kratos is now like now he's finally gonna go after Zeus. The first like boss fight is like Poseidon, and you just look at him like, oh my god, that's the first boss. And like you fight all the other like big boys, like you fight Hades, and like you finally kill off the rest of the Pantheon, and see the rest of like Kratos' sad and badass tale of how he killed the Pantheon, while making him a little sympathetic, like with Pandora, the little girl that's in the game. And then that was pretty much the last we saw of Kratos until he decided to nope out of Greece. And then next, on August 27th, this was the one fighting game that I beat in 2022, and that was Soul Calibur 4. Now, what I did for this game is that I played the game as a character, just so I can, like, you know, say to say that like I actually played Soul Calibur 4. So I beat the game as Cervantes. Now I suck at fighting games, so you can imagine that, like, regardless of any character, that I would have like sucked hard. So I just like played it as like I guess as basic as I can get. So I just played like the story, which is only like a few fights and the game's over. I don't know how it is with different characters, but I remember like having like a fun time because like and I like Soul Calibur, so like that's why I decided to play Soul Calibur 4. And also the 360 version has Yoda. You gotta like that, YouTube. Okay, last one for the first pile. Okay, yeah, that's the first pile. And then I'm gonna pause the video and then move on to the next one. So next and last for the first pile, August 28th, I finished the original Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy. I thought one of the lights went out. But the Jak and Daxter, just again, great game for the PS2. One that like, it's just one that's like really impressive too, because this was like early PS2, and like there's like pretty much no loading screens throughout like the entire game, and you just got a collectathon to go through, and you got like a poster as a manual, because they were doing that a lot back then. Just fantastic game. It's like the evolution of Crash Bandicoot and what Naughty Dog was doing, and it's great. I dare say I kind of like this more than some of the. I like it more than like Crash 1 and 2. Not 3 though, because Crash 3 is amazing. And then also, I guess with Jak and Daxter, because like the characters I like the characters too, and especially like Samos's like snarky remarks to Daxter. Those are funny. Alright, so I'm just gonna pause this real quick, and then we're gonna move on to the next one, and hopefully I don't get any other games out of order. Alright, I'm back. Just had a quick bout of H2O and some time to relax. Now, let's do the second stack. Alright, let me flip this over. So, the first game on the second stack is on August 31st. Yeah, again, I wasn't lying when I beat a bunch of games in August. Just wait till I get to November. November, though, excuse me. So, on August 31st, remember the criterias that I mentioned in the beginning with like one RPG, one fighting game, one like retro game before 2000 and such like that. There's one I forgot that was like, I want to beat at least one handheld game every year, and this is that handheld game, and that is New Super Mario Bros. 2. Now, again, Mario, well, that's one thing, but this is what I believe the only like New Super Mario Bros. Game that I hadn't finished yet, and now I finally finished it, and it's good. Most of like the enjoyment of this is again. Oh, there goes my phone. Well, some of it came from like just going for all the coins and just like, oh, money! And then, you know, the rest is like, you know, more fun 2D Mario platforming with the Tanuki Leaf. And sorry, I'm just distracted by my phone. The notification, because it's loud. And the gold flower again. Most of it was just like because of just the amount of coins that are in the game, and you know, it's fun enough. It's not my favorite one. I'd say probably New Super Mario Bros. The DS or Wii is like the best one. I think most of you would probably agree with that. Alright, next one, September 2nd. I finished 2 games on September 2nd, and it's not because it was the second day of September. That's not why. So the first one is yet another Mario game, but this time it was a crossover with some weirdos. Mario + Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Now if you talk about games that took me a while to finish, this is one of them. This is probably like the big example, I would say, because I actually picked this up like day one back in 2017, which was like 6 years ago now. I can't believe it. And I just remember hearing about this idea of like the Mario and the Rabbids. It's a weird combo, but maybe if the game's fun, it'll make up for that. And it was fun. It's a strategy game, like well, yeah, it's a strategy game, and maybe a little RPG-ish also. But I really liked it. Very challenging too. A lot more challenging than I thought. And it's just one that just took a while because it's just it's a long game, and because it's a tough game too. Like one thing I do have a problem with this game, and is that for like when you're customizing your team, Mario has to stay in your team, like no matter what. You have to have Mario and at least one Rabbid, which that kind of limits some of the possibilities you can do for like some teams you can do. But luckily they remedied that with Sparks of Hope. And plus Mario in Kingdom Battle is a good character to use anyway, so it's not like he's like, oh, he sucks, I want him out of my team. No, he's got some good abilities, and he has a good game to back it up. The other game on September 2nd was another game that was like Gigantosaurus huge, and it was in a series that I just talked about. God of War, the 2018 one. Man, just fantastic game. Just like this was like it's like kind of like the Dark Knight of like video games, of like, because when I saw like the Dark Knight for the first time, I was like, I get it now. I get why everyone is like madly in love with this movie. It's kind of like the same thing with like God of War 2018, because I got it like the year of release, like 2018, but I didn't really like play it back then, and like because I hadn't played the other ones, because like this was one of those cases where like I had this game, but like I wanted to play the other ones before I got to this one, and because I knew that this was Game of the Year, one Game of the Year at the 2018 Game Awards, and like there's like a lot of like big prestige around of being one of the greatest games of all time, but it's like I gotta wait. I want to play the other ones first, and just oh my god, just like there's so little to complain about really with God of War 2018. Just the story again, just fantastic. Not even just fantastic, just like what's a good word I can use, because I want to expand my vocabulary. Just I'll think about it, but the gameplay, like the gameplay stuff, like really the only like complaints really I can think of are like the fast travel, and like the lack of variety in the enemies. Like you just fight a lot of draugrs and trolls for bosses, but other than that, this game is like monumental. There we go. That's a good word. Monumental, and the story is just like fantastical. There we go. That's a good word. Fantastical and just like personal. It's like it knows how to be like big and like action packed, and it knows when to be quiet as well. Like, and the same kind of goes with Ragnarok, and I haven't finished Ragnarok yet, but the base plate that like God of War 2018 has left behind for us, like, cannot be understated. Like absolutely not. Next one on September 6th. This was the only NES game that I finished in 2022, and that was the original Gradius on the Switch Online. Another game that was pretty quick to play through. I finished it in about like, let's say 20 minutes or a half hour, because it's a short game. Like it's only about like a few levels. And hold on, I need a drink. Yeah, I know, I drink from a gallon. I'm a thirsty boy. Like it was just quick, too. Like yeah, just like I'm gonna say like only like a handful of levels, and it's a horizontal horizontal 2D shooter, space shooter, and it was fun. I like the ship and the guns that you get, and like the little customizing you could do. Like it's not much, like, because it's an NES game. And fun fact, I actually found this out when I was like looking up Gradius, but Gradius was actually the first game that Konami released on the NES. That was a cool fact to learn. But Gradius, it's a classic. Next one, on September 14th, I finished the original Mech Assault on the original Xbox. Fun fact for you, another one. Mech Assault was actually the very first game I ever got for my original Xbox, back when I got my first original Xbox, back when I was like, I want to say 14 or 15. And again, another game that I like never like finished, or like, because like I knew this game because I remember seeing like lots of best original Xbox games videos, and like this was like among one of them. And I knew, and I always wanted, it's like, ooh, a game about mechs, and playing like a mech, and firing things like a mech. Like, this was like my dream come true. And for like anyone who's like a fan of mechs and big robots and explosions like this one. But yeah, it's a fun, it's like fun, it's really fun. Like you, like both the analog sticks are like moving the mech around, like all your weapons. You got all different types of tanks to use, and it's just a really fun game that like takes advantage of the fact that you're in a mech and you could fight other mechs and like squash people with with your mech. Like, you are a walking tank, as you should be, as how a mech should be. And it didn't even land on God of War. That's sad. Next one, September 25th. I believe this was the first Wii U game that I finished of only 2 or 3. So this is Yoshi's Woolly World. Now, if you want to call any game adorable, this is that game. Yoshi's Woolly World is like Yoshi's Island and Yoshi's Story, but you make it yarn-filled and you make it look like absolutely like adorable, like looking handcrafty and and has all the things that you like in a Yoshi game, including Poochie, and he's looking adorable also. Now, if you're looking to 100% this game, good luck, because like as you expect, just like with Yoshi's Island and stuff, this game is tough to 100%. Like, I was trying to go for as much as I could while I was trying to like play through it, and I found out that's just taking too long. I gotta keep going, because again, it's quite a long game too. Like, there's a lot of levels to it, and like, you definitely get your money's worth for the amount of like content that you get. I won't lie about that, but good game. Now we move into October. So now I play all the spooky games, and it's a perfect place to start because on October 7th I finished Luigi's Mansion 3, or as I call it, Luigi's Mansion 3. Now we go from a game that's absolutely adorable to one that's like cartoony scary, like Scooby-Doo-esque. And you got Gooigi, or Googie as I call him. Yeah, it's Luigi's Mansion, brought to the Switch, and got lots of like fun puzzles, and just like a lot of devious things. I'm exaggerating, obviously, but that's what Luigi would probably think. Like in his mind, be like, "Oh no," but but it's a good game. As are most of the games I've played in this video. I mean, maybe next year I'll try searching for like some bad games to play. But you got you got a couple moves to work with, but like most of you gotta like think about it. Like I mean, it's a puzzle game obviously, but it's like you have to think about some of the puzzles, but they're not like so like subtle that like you feel like you're trying to figure out moon logic. And it's good. It's a good. Next one on October 12th. That series right there. I finished some games in that series this year. That's Resident Evil 2, the remake. This was one that I played like sort of in preparation for the Resident Evil 4 remake, and also because like I never played Resident Evil 2. I have the original, but I haven't played it yet, so I kind of want to see what like the deal was with Resident Evil 2. Like, not just with the remake, because I've always heard that the original Resident Evil 2 was always like a great game. So I want to see what it was, and terrific game. I played it as Leon A, Claire B, so I don't know how it would be different. What the difference is between like doing Claire A, Leon B, but stuff like. Definitely spooked me out a couple times, I'll say that. Like if you're going into this game as if you were playing Resident Evil 4 back there, don't, because not the same kind of game. Like you got limited ammo, you got things that want to like tear your face off, and you got Mr. X like wanting to like f you up. So be careful. But I recommend it. It's a great game still. Just like, yeah, great, and again, Leon still being a little bit of snarky, like, being snarky, and, you know, it's just sad what happens to Raccoon City, and, like, the things that happen, like, in general, in that game. And then, a week later, on October 19th, I finished the Resident Evil 3 remake. Now, this one, I think is good. It's definitely not as good as, like, the Resident Evil 2 remake. Mostly because, like, I don't think this game, like, feels as substantial as Resident Evil 2 Remake. Although, like, I've also heard that kind of the same thing with, like, the original Resident Evil 3 of, like, it's good, but not as good as like Resident Evil 2. So I kind of went into that with like that kind of parallel. So like it's good. It's just like I feel like I probably wouldn't be going back to it as much as like the Resident Evil 2. Next one on October 24th. I finished another cartoony, spooky game, going from viruses and like infected creatures to a game with cartoony skeletons and a Grim Reaper that has a rock guitar. You can see it right here. Grabbed by the Ghoulies for the original Xbox. Funny that it mentions Donkey Kong Country on the Xbox, and this is a Rareware game, excuse me. But fun game. It's like a 3D beat 'em up. But it's one of those like weird ones where you have to like control the right analog stick to perform combos. So that took a bit of getting used to. But other than that, fun game. Has some charm to it, like you expect from Rare. And I like the characters. They're very British, again from Rare. But it's fun. I get a lot longer than I was expecting too. Like it's quite a lengthy game as well, especially Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is quite the long boy, but again, I like it. Like you can get it on Xbox, or I think it's on Rare Replay if you have a Xbox One or Series X. So wouldn't hurt to play it, especially during the spooky time. All right, next one on October 27th. So this is a game that I finished already, but I have not played the mode that is in this game until now. So I have Resident Evil 4, but I finished, I don't know if you can see on here, but I finished Separate Ways for the first time. So Separate Ways was just like Resident Evil 4. Just Resident Evil 4 is amazing. So what do I think about Separate Ways? It's good. You can play as Ada, and you got like some fun tools at your disposal. Like that crossbow that you get, super fun to use. But you don't get a lot of ammo for it, which kind of sucks. But merch is still there. You get to like stab Sadler in the eye, I think. Last I remember. you get to fight him like before Leon gets to fight him in the story. Like before he escapes the lab at the end of RE4. So it's basically like Ada's perspective through all the events of Resident Evil 4. Like you get to manipulate things like in Leon's story because of some of the things that kind of happen like that were like, huh? Like how did that happen? Separate Ways will tell you everything. All right, next one. Let's see. November 1st is another Wii U game. I finished the NES Remix pack. More specifically, I finished NES Remix 1 on this package. So NES Remix 1. So these games are like take a bunch of NES games. So in this case, Super Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong, Mario Brothers, Balloon Fight, Excite Bike, Ice Climber, Golf, Baseball, Tennis, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 3, Pinball, Cuckoo Land, Urban Champion, and Wrecking Crew. And you get to spice them up in different ways with a twist, as it says in the box. And again, solid enough. I'm not good at like most of the games that are in here, because some of them are like arcade games, like Clue Land, I believe, was an arcade game, and so was Excite Bike. And plus, more importantly, I hadn't played some of these games, so I was like, what do I do? Well, one, what do I do, and like, how do I do it? Because you have to do it under some conditions. So I was like, took a little bit, but I had myself a fun time. And how you get like an end to these is like there's a section for like a collage of remixes for the levels, and that's how you like get the credits for that. So it's fun. I like it. All right, next one. November 6th. I finished 2 games that day as well. So the first one was the solo mode for Mario Party 6. So again, this one doesn't actually have like some kind of ending. So, but the way I considered it that I beat it was I played the solo mode until I got all 4 of the rare mini games that you can unlock through the solo mode. So I did it again. Also again as my girl Daisy, because she's the best. And you know, just played it again and got some fun rewards out of it. I don't have much to say about Mario Party 6 because if I want to talk about Mario Party 6 like in more detail, I would talk about the multiplayer, but that's not how you get everything in Mario Party 6. Next, also on November 6th, there's a lot of sixes in this. That's not good. I hope the devil's not here. Splatoon. Hopefully the devil isn't a squid either. But you could say that about the final boss maybe. But Splatoon was a game that I guess is kind of dead in terms of its multiplayer because when I tried getting on, it took forever to find a match, and most of the players that I found were Japanese players. So kind of dead in terms of multiplayer. But I played the campaign for this though, and the campaign like you know I had to unless like if I didn't play it, then why would this game be on here? But Splatoon was fun. Obviously, this game birthed something. Like it birthed a series out of it. Excuse me. But I like it. It's like Nerf, without nothing. You shoot squid, not squid. You shoot ink, become a squid. Shoot shoot ink at things that apparently makes things die, because that's how powerful ink is. And that's it. You go through some simple levels, doing like some simple puzzles, and you gotta find a boss fight. Actually, some fun boss fights, plural. Especially that last one. That last boss was intense. I'll say that. And you got yourself a good splatting time. I can't even. Sometimes I don't know how to end sections properly, and that's one of them. Next one on November 12th. Devin Gaming, if you're watching this is for you. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Now, if you watched my last video, I mentioned that I had heard great things about this game, and like I want to play the rest of the Metal Gear games, and that this was like one of them that I wanted to play. I'm saving Metal Gear Solid 4 as the last one, since like canonically I think that's the end of the series, unless you don't count Metal Gear Rising. So this being the first was like exciting because like I played Metal Gear Solid 2 and I loved it, so I was looking forward to this one. So obviously it does play much differently than 2, but like definitely not in bad ways, like at all. Like the camouflage and messing around with CQC, like the CQC slam, like that was amazing. That's always fun to do. Sorry, Wallet. I won't appease you again. But I was just having a blast playing Metal Gear Solid 3. The story, again, like with God of War, is emotional. And again, another game that knows how to be like quiet while also being like big and bombastic. And that's Metal Gear Solid 3. And the boss fights, again, superb all across the board. Maybe not all across the board. Like I didn't really care for what's the one with the bees? I forget that one, but that one was alright. But the end though, the end and the final boss against the boss, and the ending of Metal Gear Solid 3, again, just marvelous, like amazing game. Metal Gear Solid 3 is amazing. I kind of like 2 a little more than 3, but Metal Gear Solid 3, again, still top-notch game. Alright, we're coming down to the wire now. I think we just got a few more games left. So next one on November 18th, another game that I beat on my computer, and that is a game that, I don't know how you actually pronounce it, but it's called VVVVVVV. So what it is it's an indie game from, it's one of those like early indie games, like before indie games kind of blew up. It's, the main gimmick of it is like, the only thing you can do is you can, change gravity. Like you can, like all the jumps that you do are all like in diagonals, so like that's the only thing you can do, and like the level design is like built around that. So there's like little challenges you can do, and all kinds of stuff. You have to find all your crew members and finish the game. It's a fun concept, and I liked how it played too. I didn't play with a keyboard. Like if I ever play again with my PC, I always play with a controller because these hands are not built for playing games with a keyboard. But but it's a fun concept, and like you got some cute characters and some like really like some jamming like music too. Like some of the songs are bangers. And play VVVVVV, and let me know how you actually pronounce it too. Next one. So if you thought I could beat 2 games in one day, how about 3 games in one day? So November 19th is that day. 3 games again. So the first one that I beat is Gravity Rush Remastered. Another game that like I really wanted to play. This is like a game that, like, especially like the remaster, was one that I desired for a while, and to finally play it too. It's like I really dug it. Like I got hooked instantly because I like the main character cat. I like her actual cat, and like just her plight of like trying to figure out like who she is while also like trying to like uncover like this like weird not conspiracy, like these like weird monsters that keep showing up. And you gotta stop it. The thing I really liked about this game was like obviously the gravity shifting. So I actually do have my DualShock right here. So like you move it around and like with the gyroscope in it, and that's how you aim. And the level design's like built around it, and like there's lots of challenges to do. Like I got super hooked on this game. Like I finished it within like weeks, and like it was the only game this year that in 2022 that I got the platinum trophy for. So that's something to be proud of. I mean, it's not a hard platinum, but it was just one of like whenever I get a platinum trophy in any game, really, I'm proud of that. Next game on November 19th is Panzer Dragoon Orta for the original Xbox. Another game that I was again looking for for a while, and I'm glad I finally played it. It's a short game. It's only about like 4 hours, I want to say, or 3. But one that like uses it like that short time oh so well. Like has some like I suck at this game, I'll say that. Like I'm not good at rail shooters, but like if any game taught me that like there goes my phone again, that I should be like I should learn how to like dodge things better and fire back, this is that game. Like I had like even with my limited knowledge on rail shooters, like I still was having a blast playing it, and like just like killing all the bosses and seeing the special moves happen. Because like the big thing with this game is like being able to shift between three different kinds of dragoons. One that's like slow but super powerful, one that's like fast and like just like has like an all range thing, and then one that is like a balance of like the speed and the like power, and you can like shift around like some enemies, like the bosses, take advantage of that. I really like it. One thing I'm not keen on is the ending. I won't spoil it, but the ending is just really abrupt, and because of like we never got another game after this one, the end credit scene is kind of like a cliffhanger. Again, I won't spoil it, but I still really like Panzer Dragoon Orta. One of my favorite games on the original Xbox. Now for the last game that I finished on November 19th, and that is a Wii game called Zack and Wiki, or I guess you could say Zack and Wiki if you want to be that guy. So this is a game that it's a point and click game where it has one thing that really got me into it: pirates. You know me, pirates. And like a game that just has like lots of charm to it. And it's a point and click game, and again another game with like puzzles that are like subtle, but they're not like moon logic to where like really that's how you do, like how are you supposed to beat that? Like it's all right there. It's like you just got to think about it for a little bit, but like it's really I really liked it. The characters are charming. Again, there's like fun items you can get. The Wiki, the monkey, can turn into a bell and transform animals into things of death. Like a frog can turn into a bomb. a snake can turn into like some of like those robot hand toys. A centipede can become like a buzzsaw. like just kind of creative things like that I really like. And no surprise that like it's Capcom, like because Capcom makes some kind of like games with a lot of charm to it. Like look at like even Resident Evil, like those games are horror, but they have a lot of charm to them. And I'm glad I like that I played Zack and Wiki. Like if there's any game in this video that I would call legitimately a hidden gem, Zack and Wiki would be that game. Alright, November 29th, because I just talked about, I already talked about Sonic 3 earlier. November 29th, I finished Horizon Forbidden West, one of my most anticipated games released in 2022, and I got the special edition as well, because I was that excited for it. Now this game was great. Visually, it's like superb. But what sucks about Horizon, not even about like the game itself, it's just like Sony could not have timed this more poorly than if they even tried. Like this game will release a week before Elden Ring, and like the sales kind of plummeted for that. So that kind of sucks. But I like the game. Like it makes some general improvements about Zero Dawn. As like I like the locations. I like the story, like what it goes through. Still, there's some things that I'm not keen on in the plot, like with one character just kind of showing up near the end and not really doing much. But that's really it. I like the new creatures and like the new things that Aloy can do. That was fun. And then I want to close off Horizon Forbidden, like this one, with our rest in peace to Lance Reddick, who just passed away today, who played Silence in this and Zero Dawn. Rest in peace, man. Last few games. Next one, December 2nd, I finished another game that I got like during my teen years, but I never finished. That's BioShock 2 on the Xbox 360. Now I've always talked about how BioShock was like a game that showed me that games could tell stories, and like how much I love the first BioShock, and same with BioShock Infinite, but I never finished BioShock 2. This game always eluded me. And I played it, and it's good. Again, just solid game. Not nearly as good as like 1 or Infinite, but no, good, and it's basically just BioShock more. Just not really as like tight as BioShock 1 or BioShock Infinite. Next one, December 5th, I finished, this is my last digital game that I finished, was Space Harrier 2 on the Switch Online. Jeez, I'm running out of my voice. So Space Harrier 2 is a classic Genesis game, especially like classic like Genesis launch title. Like it's probably the best like Genesis launch title. It's the only one I can remember, and it's a game. It's I guess it would be classified as a rail shooter, but like it's one where like you can move around like you're a little guy in a jet, and you can I don't know, sometimes I suck at explaining things, but with Space Harrier, you're a little guy shooting things, and whenever you die, you make a sound of It doesn't sound exactly like that. Like, think of it like that, sounding less old, and sounding more bit crunched. It's like, that sounds more accurate. But, fun game. I suck at it, but I like it. Penultimate game now. December 18th, another game that I finished, that was a handheld game. So I guess I lied about New Super Mario Bros. 2 being my only handheld game, so there was a intentional misdirection, or was it? God of War, Ghosts of Sparta. So this is just like more God of War, except it's on a handheld, and I like the weapons still. I like the story and like what Kratos is dealing with his brother, and it's like and questions about Kratos' Dark Past, like it says in the back, and it's just another fun God of War game. Just the console games are better, as you'd expect. And lastly, is that even a word? The last game that I finished is on December 28th. So right after Christmas, I decided, I guess randomly, that I wanted to play Metal Slug. So I played Metal Slug 1 on the Anthology on the Wii. So I don't exactly know what the consensus is on like Metal Slug as a series. So I don't know exactly like what's considered the best one and what's considered the worst one. So I like playing Metal Slug 1 for the first time. I was like, this is fun, and like fun run and gun shooter with like like mechs and explosions everywhere. So it was just like a solid time, and this package itself is like a good value too as well. Like get like 7 like expensive Neo Geo games for one. Like yeah, I want that. And yeah, so I beat Metal Slug 1 and just had a fun time just playing another arcade game. And with that, that is every game that I beat in 2022. Now I'm just gonna do the top 10 really quick, like I did last year. So let me see. Number 10 is, where is it? Number 10 is, where did I put it? I know I had it here somewhere. Number 10 is, I'll tell you, it's Mario plus Rabbids. Oh, here it is. Number 10, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Number 9 is, number 9, Mech Assault. Number 8, Sonic 2. Number 7, Jak and Daxter. Number 6, Gravity Rush. Number 5, Zack and Wiki. Number 4, God of War 2018. Number 3, Metal Gear Solid 3. Number 2 and number 1, those pretty much go back and forth with me, and that is Kina. You can see that, Kina, and Panzer Dragoon Orta. Those would pretty much be my favorite games that I beat in 2022. And with that, that is the end of my games I beat in 2022 video. It was quite a long video, as you'd expect from a video like this, but I'm glad it's finally done. And hope that I beat tons more games this year as well, because I do have some games that I did beat this year already. Like I've already beat Boom Blocks, Shrek 2 on GBA, Sonic and Knuckles, Donkey Kong Country, Stray, and Dead or Alive 3. Plus some others that I won't mention because I'll save them for next year's video. And with that, yeah, that is it. So thank you all for watching this long video, and please comment, like, and subscribe. And next video is, I'm not sure what it's going to be. I know one of them is definitely going to be a stream, that's for sure. And feel free to follow me on social media, where you can see me see what's going on in my life and seeing what games I beat. Link will be in the description. And see you when I hopefully don't abuse my wallet ever again. So shock the world and us, Ami Bros. Goodbye!